Hello Beginner Swing Session 2 Part 1 students, beginner Lindy Hop. This is your week 1 review. So this week we went over a move that you learned in Intro to Swing. You learned the J maneuver to get into closed position. So instead of rock stepping your follow and then connecting up into closed, which is very boring and not a very dramatic way of getting into closed, not very aesthetically pleasing either. Instead of just going rock, step, triple step, or rock, step, triple step, we let our follows forward and we did a 1, 2, triple step, which is much more aesthetically pleasing, works out much nicer, feels nicer to the follows, feels nicer to the leads. Okay, it's a much better way of doing it. We learned that in Intro to Swing, so you can go back and you can go back and review that in Intro to Swing, your Intro to Swing video series of class reviews. But what we did today was we really broke this down and how it works and the way you really want to do it, okay? So first off is that we talked about the follows holding a line, okay? And that as they're holding that line, they're continuing down that line until the lead redirects them or leads them, okay? So as I start this lead, I start her straight towards where I'm currently at, but I slightly get out of her way here, and she's coming straight up this line now, okay? I get out of her way, she continues up the line, but we talked about how she ends up turning because she's connected here with the hand, and as I turn my body, she also turns, okay? And notice we stay square this entire time as we move around, okay? So if I start her momentum down the line, she's going to continue straight up that line, but us being connected here at the hand is going to cause her to turn while she continues straight down that line. So watch. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. She goes straight down the line, okay? All right. But we're picking her up well before that, before she gets all the way down that line. So she continues down the line as if she's going to keep going down there, but we pick her up with our hand on count 2 and, okay? So if we do this really, really slow like we did in class, goes 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you can see she keeps going down there until she can't go any further because she's into my hand, all right? So this gives us a little bit of a pulling connection, nice light pulling connection, but definitely a pulling connection that allows me to lead the next movement, okay? So we go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now what happens is I'm going to triple backwards this direction where my back currently is to kind of stop the circular momentum and to end this in 6 counts, and we go triple step. Okay? And that was the same thing we did when we were in Intro to Swing doing singles. We just did 1, 2, step, step. Okay? And we faced the opposite direction leads that we started in. Okay? But now we're doing it with triples. 1, 2, a triple step, and triple sit. Okay? Triple sit's another thing to call it when you're back on your back foot. Instead of your weight being on your front foot, your weight's on your back foot. We call that a triple sit, okay? So when you're triple sitting, it causes you to come backwards a bit as you're tripling. And that's why we're going backwards there, okay? Again, the follows momentum helps you to do this, okay? So if you didn't have her momentum, you might just go 1, 2, triple step, and keep spinning or something there. Okay, but her momentum and the way it hits helps you to end this turn. Okay, so 1, 2, triple step, and you just back it up from there. Okay, all right. So watch that together again. We go 1, 2, a triple step and triple sit. Or back it up. Okay, on that last one. Great. Okay, so we talked about many things. I'm trying to remember what they all were at this point, but. Well, that's another move. Yes. But I mean, the dynamics for making this work, okay? So one of the things we talked about was walking, of course, and I've talked about this before, probably to you as well, but walking and how you walk. You don't walk with your feet. You don't start with your feet and go like this and then try and take another step, because if you tried, you wouldn't be able to, and you'd be falling backwards, go in the opposite direction. So naturally the way we walk is we start falling in a direction and then we catch ourselves. And as long as we don't over-catch ourselves, we'll keep going in that direction, okay? If we start falling this way and we're walking this way and then we over-catch ourselves, we'll start falling the other direction, okay? So we start by falling, then we catch is how we walk. Okay, well the same is true for dancing. If I want my follow to know what's going on, okay, the first thing I want to do here, I have a slight pulling connection, okay? That's the start of things. Now I want her to come this direction. If I want her to come this way, I've got to start falling that way before I step that way, okay? So I start falling, we get a stretch between our hands, and then she comes, okay? She feels that stretching, she feels that connection becoming heavier, and she comes, okay? It's like a point of flipping a light switch, okay? When you first go to flip a light switch, if you put your finger lightly on it, at first it kind of resists you, right? But then as you press harder, suddenly it flips to the other side and goes all the way to the end of the line, right? Follows the lead to the end, yeah. Okay, so we lightly press, we got a light connection, and then as we increase that pressure, there becomes a point where the switch no longer resists and it comes flying across, okay? That's the same with our follows. So we have a light connection here, a light pulling pressure, and then as we start to build that by falling backwards, we start to build that, there becomes a point where the pressure gets to be enough where she says, boom, I'm coming, okay? And once she starts coming, she continues coming until we stop at leads, okay? Because that's our job. You remember the rules, okay? Rule number 1, meaningfully connect with your partner. Rule number 2, follows, follow each lead to its end. Leads, create a lead that she can follow to its end and end it. Okay?
Can you show what guys should not be doing? I want him to show what guys should not be doing when you're leading her forward on 1-2.
Okay. We didn't talk about this in class this week, although when you're watching the video, maybe we did talk about it, because this video is going to go out to a lot of class series. What she's saying is, when I'm leading, I'm not leading with my arm, I'm leading with my body, and that's what I've just been talking about, okay? So I start falling back, and she comes forward. Notice my arm didn't do anything, okay? Watch, it won't do anything, the arm. I start falling back, and boom, okay, she comes forward. If you lead with your arm, and you do this, okay, well I didn't go anywhere and she just artificially came forward, okay, so we don't want to lead with our arm. But it's even worse when you lead with your body properly and then you also lead with your arm, because she doubles her speed and comes flying across at double the speed she should have been moving at, okay? So if you're going to do the wrong thing, do it by itself. Don't do it in combination with the right thing, because then your follow has taken on double speed and you're wondering why the moves can't work out, and they're not working out because you're both not there at the same time. The follow's way ahead of you, okay? So leads, make sure that you're just leading with your body and not your arm. Now, I'm not saying that your arm's going to stay in this position the whole time, because it's not, okay? But you're not pulling in with your arm, okay? So when I start this motion and I start to fall back and then she comes in, my arm will start to retract as she gets closer to me, okay? It will retract. But it's retracting as a result of what's happening between us and not because it was the cause of her coming to me, okay? So that's the idea there. So make sure you lead with the body and not the arm. Fall back, catch, okay, all right. So this falling back, we were over this for a while. I want to talk a little bit more about it. When we finish a movement, let's say we just did an inside turn. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so 6, you see my right foot is slightly behind my left foot, okay? That's the furthest foot back. Now I hit 6, and as soon as I step that 6, if I know I want to lead her forward next, I start falling backwards immediately from hitting that 6. So I go 6, and I start falling, and 1, okay? So your lead comes on the and between the 6 and the 1. Okay, that and there, 6 and 1. All right? And that's the only reason your follow can step at the exact same moment you step. Okay? So if I wasn't leading anything and suddenly I just went 1, you see how she comes after me? Okay? Because there was nothing there to tell her, step with me on the 1 count. Okay? However, if I start falling on this 6 and boom, we step at the exact same moment because she had that prior knowledge that something was coming, okay? And whenever you're leading, there's always that prior knowledge, okay? So your lead always comes before the step, and that's something important to realize, okay? So we did this movement where we were doing the J-hook maneuver, or the J maneuver, or the J hook, whatever you want to call it. We were doing that maneuver to get to close, but then we also did a right side pass. A right side pass means that the follow is passing the lead on his right side, okay, so past my right shoulder. So a right side pass would look like this. It's always in terms of the lead's thoughts is how we call the names of these moves, okay? So right side pass, she's coming past my right side, watch it. A 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Okay, watch it again. She's coming past my right side, which is over here now. A 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Okay? Alright, now this works the same way as your other movement for the first 4 counts. Exactly the same for the leads for the first 4 counts. So in the other one, when we're bringing her to close, we're going 1, 2, 3, and 4, but we were picking up her back on 2 and, okay? But our foot placement's exactly the same at this point, all right? So she's coming down a line right here, okay? We go 1, 2, 3, and 4, but then we spun a little extra on that line and went backwards up that line, okay? This time, it's going to be a little bit different, and we go 1, 2, 3, and 4. We don't pick her up with the hand. The foot placement's exactly the same for those first 4 counts, but now we're going to back up this line just a little bit, but not sidewards to it, okay? So we're just going to go back it up just a little bit, okay, to get that pulling connection from our follow at the end of the movement.
Okay, follows, you're going to do 1, 2, cross in front, and then triple step backwards. Fine. Okay. Straight on 1, 2, 1, 2, triple step, triple sit.
And triple back it up, yep.
Or back it up.
Okay, so let's show that to you here on the side because we already did it front to back a little bit earlier. So we'll go a 1, 2, 3, and 4, and back it up. Now you see when we back it up, we're keeping our elbows engaged so that our arms aren't like this. Let your arm go. Yeah, so our arms aren't just straight out like that, okay? We're actually keeping our elbows engaged. We got a straight line from this elbow to that elbow. See how that's nice and straight? We're not going like this and pinching or have all that tension there, okay? You don't want to have that tension build up, okay? Just release the tension. And the only spot you should have tension is bringing your elbow back to your side. That's the only place you should really have it. Of course in your fingers or you'll slip off your partner's fingers, okay? But everything else should be loose. So if we've got this connection here, everything else should be nice and loose. And you shouldn't really see like this kind of tenseness as we try to move, okay? It shouldn't be tense. Really try to relax. Remember that relaxation is going to help you do things faster. So the faster the music gets, the more you want to relax, okay? But really, in your connection, the only place that tension should be is going straight back towards your side. The elbow straight back towards your side, okay?
And ladies, it's okay if you, after you do a turn or a move, your hand is not going to be right here all the time. And it's alright if it's a little bit out here, as long as you still have that bent arm. You never want to have it straight.
Okay, real good right there. Okay, so here we are. And we lead in. So I first start by falling back. I go and 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and we do it again. We go and 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Again, watch it. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. One more. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Okay? Alright, I think that covers it. I think we covered everything that we talked about.
And squaring up with each
Making
other.
sure you're square with your partner. Oh yeah. Let's talk about that just a little bit. When you're coming by your lead follows, make sure that your frame is always like this, okay? And same for the leads. Make sure your frame is always like this as your partner's coming by. Because if either one of us break that, we end up not being square in the shoulders. And we want to be very square in the shoulders as we pass. So watch. 1, 2, we're nice and square. And 4, 5, and 6. Okay, watch again. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. If one of us changes that, I'll change it for now. Instead of keeping my arm out here as she goes by, I'm going to bring it across my body and watch what happens. 1, 2, and see how she like didn't turn. She's like facing that way while I'm facing this way. Our shoulders are totally unsquare. Can you stop there for a second? Right there, okay? And we're like totally unsquare. I'm like facing this way and she's like facing that way, right? Okay? We don't want that. We want to be very square. So why don't you let your arm go all the way out to the side? So see how her arm's all the way out to the side? Now, like, she should be right here, but instead she's like over there, right? Okay? So we square it up, boom. She's right there in front of me every single time, okay? All right, nice and square does it. Because when the lead's trying to get your back there, let's say he's trying to go back into this J-hook maneuver that we went over earlier, okay? And he's trying to get there, and let's say follows you, put your arm all the way out to the side. Okay, guess what? I can't get my hand on her back. I'd have to really reach over there. The other thing is I might get something that she doesn't want me to get, okay? And that's a problem, that's an issue. So follows, be very conscious of that, and leads as well. Keep the frame. Make sure that you don't break that and cause issues, okay? All right, thank you guys. This is your week 1 review. We'll see you next week.
Bye.